this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Welcome to another edition of Get It Right, Texoma, with the trio, Mike Hendren, Terry McAdams, Ray Sorella. Glad to have you here with us once again. Thank you for joining us. We are here to inform you and entertain you, hopefully just a little bit. We do focus on events and news around the local area, but we throw in some regional and state and national news and international news as appropriate. You know, we do talk a lot about just whatever we feel like talking about, of course, but we have our own opinions about things as well, and so we hope we are somewhat informing and entertaining you at least. And we try to have interesting guests with us on the show, too, from time to time. And we do have quite a few lined up coming up here.
We've got a whole slate. We've got people all scheduled all the way into November.
I know. Yeah. So, and probably more waiting to get on the schedule, too.
Yeah, we actually do. Yeah, we'll kind of wait to see a few guests. We need to see how their schedules are going to line out, where we're going to slot them in.
Well, the accountant tells us not to go past December 31.
Yeah.
Don't go past the fiscal year.
Yeah, well, it's okay because we're not government, because otherwise we couldn't go past August 31.
That's true.
October. Oh, yeah, September.
October,
yeah.
So then we'd have to then you just be watching reruns until the end of the year.
And by the way, you know what they say about opinions, right?
Yes.
Everyone is like belly buttons.
No, that's not what they say. But
I've heard the other end.
Yeah, no, that's the clean one.
You're not far enough south, Terry. Yeah. Not far enough south yet. Anyway.
And you're 180 degrees out. Speaking of opinions, and I know this is, everybody probably has seen this, but I don't know if you guys saw this video of Joy Reid. Y'all know who Joy Reid is, right?
Oh, unfortunately.
Joy Reid has this weird video. It's not her on her set. It's like a home video about Kamala Harris, and she looks into the camera. By the way, Joy Reid is an odd-looking person, you know, with her short hair, dyed blonde and stuff. You know, I don't think that's her natural color. It looks like they held her upside down and just dipped her head to get the full coat on there. Yeah. But she
like they do those helmets where they do the paint thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But she said, she looked in the camera and said, you know, if you were on the other side of voting for Kamala Harris at this, you know, because now she's all into Kamala. She was in love with Joe Biden, now it's into Kamala. Yeah. But you're going to look weird, and you're going to look strange, and you're going to look stupid. And I'm thinking, you talk about the pot calling the kettle black. Jesus Christ.
I
Is
can't.
This her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I cannot take
that. Yeah, that's the hairdo. And I think I don't. Yeah, there it is.
Oh my!
That's
God.
the video. That's the hairdo.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Now you think talk about weird looking? I mean, with those huge fake eyelashes and stuff like that. I mean, look, you do you, but don't talk about how people are going to look weird. And strange.
Well, it's just her hairdo, I guess.
Is she bald or?
Well, she's got her hair cut short, which is fine. You can cut it how you want, but then she dips it in whatever, and makes it blonde. Look, you can do what you want, but I think she looks weird.
Yeah. Whatever.
And especially not just her. She's not. It's not her. It's her facial expressions and everything else. I'm not saying she's a weird-looking person normally.
Right.
If she's made up sitting on her set, but she's sitting here with that camera up really close. She's kind of got a big mouth, like a Edie Brickell in the New Bohemians, big mouth anyhow. Right. You know, and a large oral orifice. Wow. And then that short hair that's bleached blonde. And she's sitting there going, "You're looking weird. You're looking weird."
Yeah. And the truth is, those the close-up camera when you're doing it does balloon your face out.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So it's just strange. If she was sitting on her set, like with a normal camera, and saying you're going to look stupid or you're going to look weird, it might be okay. But when you're up at the camera and you've got a weird camera,
at all.
Yeah, and you're talking about you're going to look stupid and weird, it's like, man, okay,
okay, you look a little weird.
Yeah, you know what stupid and weird looks like.
Yeah.
So
anyhow, cool. Well, there we go.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, anyway.
Oh, she's horrible. She's a race. She is so racist.
Yeah.
She is horribly racist.
Yeah.
Ugh. Can't stand people like that.
Unfortunate. Well, do by the way, check out our website, getitrighttexoma.com.
Yes.
Do check out our website and also our Facebook page as well, and we'd love to hear your opinions and your feedback on the show. Of course, you can leave messages on our Facebook page. Be sure and like and share that on your social media pages as well. The program is brought to you by Eddie Hills Fun Cycles, 401 North Scott, downtown Wichita Falls, since 1966. EddieHillsFunCycles.com, the website. MacTech Solutions at 4020 Ray Road, Suite 3B in Wichita
Well,
Falls.
The website's eddiehillsfuncycles.com.
Did I say that? What did I say?
You said the website and then said MacTech Solutions.
But that's website, Mac. Yeah, eddiehillsfuncycles.com.
eddiehillsfuncycles.com. That's their website.
Okay, yeah.
The guy with the shirt on that says Eddie Hills Fun Cycles. Maybe I need to go get in the camera.
Yeah.
Eddie Hills Fun Cycles, right there. That
Right
one.
there.
That's the place to go.
That's our website.
MacTech Solutions is located at 4020 Ray Road in Wichita Falls, Suite 3B. MacTech-Solutions.
What's our
Like
website?
that. I get scared.
MacTech-Solutions.com.
There we go. Good. All right.
He is so
pass.
not gangsta.
Yeah.
And
The middle-aged white nerd gang.
oh,
There.
God, I've lost all control now.
Yeah.
And
instead of drinking a 40, you dip it out and use Starbucks.
And also brought to you by
Lolly.
Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop.
Lolly, lolly, lolly.
LPsweet.com.
Get your adverbs here.
Lolly,
you
Lolly is spelled Lollie. Lolly and Pop Sweet Shop on Facebook as well.
By the way, who named Lolly and Pop? Was that your grandkids that named it, or did you guys make that name up?
The grandkids to some degree. I think the oldest grandchild said something that came out sounding like Lolly.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it just, and of course they call me Pops because apparently I'm old.
Yeah.
And so anyway, according to one grandchild, in fact, I need a walking stick. That's what he calls a cane.
A walking
He says, I
stick.
need a cane.
There you
I'm
go.
like, dude, I'm not 83, I'm 53 almost. I'm not, come on. But anyway, yeah.
I was just curious.
So that's kind of where it was all born from. Something he said that was interpreted as Lolly, I think, and then it just
started.
evolved from there. And
Yeah.
and so we decided to start naming all the businesses Lolly and Pops.
Well, my English wife was not thrilled when she said, "What do we have the grandkids call us?" I said, "What about Meemaw and Peepaw?" And she said, "No." She wasn't digging the Meemaw and Peepaw.
So what do they call her?
Gigi.
Gigi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's that.
Yeah. That is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to. You'll be doing the editing. You probably won't, but it'll be on the timeline.
It'll be on the timeline up there. Yeah. Okay.
So you'll be able to use it if you like when you're editing
we,
this
we,
one. Hopefully,
we
you'll
might
edit
do
this
that.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. That was that 50th, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yep. 5-0.
The big 5-0.
5-0.
There you
Old
go.
folks. I mean, we got you. Yeah. I'll have to go full screen on that. And
this-
go ahead. You just continue.
But to start dyeing this
Lolly.
beard, that's what I'm about to do. Anyway.
Just for men.
Where we? I started to do hair club for
a little
men.
more gray. Since then.
Oh, it is a lot more gray.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've added 2 more grandchildren since then. But anyway,
there we go.
and more, and yeah. Apparently, I've lost weight too. Anyway,
Lolly and Pops.
I guess so.
LOLLIE.
Know where we're going with any of this. Let's see here.
New school orientation.
New school orientations, yes. So you've got info on the Wichita Falls ISD calendar.
So for the times, we'll tell you the dates.
Right.
If you're not sure, just go on the WFISD.net website, and the information's on there.
So we've got what's the Memorial Seniors and Juniors and Legacy Seniors and Juniors.
Are going to be on 8/6. So the Memorial High School Seniors and Juniors orientation and the Legacy Senior and Junior orientation are going to be on the 6th, on August the 6th.
Okay.
On August the 7th, Memorial Sophomores and Freshmen.
And then the Legacy.
On the 8th is going to be the Legacy Sophomores, and on the 12th it's going to be the Legacy Freshmen. I don't know why it's spread out that way. It is. I didn't make the schedule.
Okay.
But if you'll go, there's different times. So if you're curious, if you have a junior or senior or whatever like that, go to the WFISD.net calendar, because this is important, because these are the new schools. Nobody's been there before.
Right.
If you go to from when we went from Kirby to Hershey, it was a new school to us, but we knew other people that were there.
Right.
There'd already been people there.
There was already some background.
There's no background here. Teachers haven't been there. I mean, they might have walked to school, but nothing's been set up. So.
I think there's probably a built-in expectation of some chaos.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, it's new. The first day, Hell, the first month is going to be chaotic.
Oh yeah, they got to figure out where everything's going. But the staff is working diligently to try to make sure everything is squared away, and they've got it as well organized as it can be.
Yeah, my one of my big concerns with this remains.
There's on the main page. There's a calendar.
One of my big concerns with this remains is those students that live in the neighborhoods closest to Hershey.
I don't know. I found it yesterday.
You know, some of those students had a hard enough time getting to school, being 2 blocks away. Now you're 4 miles away, 5 miles away.
Yeah.
And so it's
Well, they'll have bus service. If you live outside a certain distance, you have to have bus service.
yeah, but you have to catch the bus at like 4:45 in the morning or something, aren't you?
I don't know what their schedule is going to be like.
I don't know either.
Of course, you talk about it though. You're going from 3 schools to running buses from 3 schools to 2 schools. Mm-hmm. So even if you have the same amount of buses, you could have more routes.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be. I don't think there's going to be anybody sitting on buses for hours and hours and stuff like that.
I've heard they're trying. Is it still Durham that runs the bus services?
I don't know.
I've heard that they've been trying to hire more bus drivers.
Right.
And I guess that's to cover additional routes, not existing routes, but more buses and slightly different routes.
I think that's probably a pretty big turnover job.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
So I don't know if it's just to add more buses or just cover what they already have. I really don't know what their schedule is.
I knew a guy years ago that drove. He drove buses in the ISD. I can't remember John something or other. He was a neighbor, and he was like a part-time employee, and he drove the school bus, like 4 days a week or something like that. But he did that for like 20 years, something like that, for a long time. And I told him one time, I said, "You've got to be one of the longest tenured employees they've ever had." He said, "I am the longest tenured employee they've ever had."
I will tell you though, what people don't, and I used to say this I used to meet with bus drivers and stuff sometimes when I was on the school board. Those people are very integral to the school day. They really are. They are the first face that those kids see, and the last face that those kids see. Yeah. And there are kids in the school district all over, but in WFIC is where I'm more intimately knowledgeable of, that outside of seeing that bus driver in the morning and seeing that bus driver in the evening, their life is chaos, absolute chaos. And that bus driver can really make a difference in their smile and their welcoming of that kid and bringing that kid out of chaos. Now, it's incumbent on the kid to accept it and not to be a little asshole, too.
Yes, that's true.
To be quite frank with you.
Yes.
But bus drivers can make a huge difference. Bus drivers can make a huge difference in those kids' lives. And sometimes they don't even realize the impact that they can have with some of these kids.
Well, schools are going to start. Burke and Iowa Park are going to start. First day of school is August 14th.
Right.
Burke, Burnett, and Iowa Park. And Wichita Falls ISD cranks up the next day on the 15th.
Yeah, I was trying to spend some time looking to find all the local schools, and some of them have made it a little difficult. So I'm like, okay, well, I didn't have time to. I kind of ran out of time. I was like, well, so if you were outside, those were relatively easy to find. So if you live outside of one of those, just kind of look at the school schedule.
Well,
I mean, they're not that hard. It's just time consuming.
They're all mandated by the state to have a certain number of days in class.
It's actually hours now.
Or is it hours?
Yes, it's strange, and that's why you have some schools, especially like West Texas schools and stuff, that have gone to 4-day weeks.
They get it all in 4 days.
Yeah. So it's actually hours. The state changed it a few years ago, as opposed to mandating an amount of days in school. It's mandated hours.
I wonder how that's working out for them. 4-day weeks.
Well, they're still going. I mean, there's been people that have been doing it for about 4 or 5 years, and they're still doing it.
Well, and I guess it would even save money, because all the energy it takes to fire up the heating and cooling and all of that on one extra day, that could,
I don't think you're ever going to see it in a school district like size of Wichita Falls. I don't even think you would see it in a school district like the size of Burke Burnett or something. But if you have a small school district, I think Petrolia looked at it.
Right.
Where your elementary, your junior high, and your high school all in one place.
Yeah. And
you don't have multiple campuses. You have a elementary, a junior high, a middle school, or whatever it is. And and the town is in with it.
So if you got a few hundred students as opposed to thousands.
Yeah, exactly. I think when you have multiple campuses and multiple, like Burke Burnett ISD, for instance, they actually have a school inside Wichita Falls city limits.
Yes.
So it would, things like that, it would be harder to deal with. But but I think it is more popular out in West Texas and some of the farming communities out there.
Yeah, I can see where it works out there for them. I can see that. I can see that. So,
anyhow.
All right, well, let's see here. Where are we moving on to here? Oh, yes, our local restaurant focus. We've been doing this for several weeks now. We pick a local eatery, a locally owned restaurant, and we talk a little bit about them, focus on them. They're not paying us to do this. We're not getting free food. We're not getting fed or anything.
No compensation.
Although, that would get you in the door. Yeah. But anyway, money talks, man. Anyway, but we try every show to focus on a new locally owned restaurant. And this show, it's Wangs and Things.
That's right.
Okay, tell me about this.
Wangs,
that's how it's pronounced.
They serve gourmet French food. No, they serve wangs. That's what they serve.
What are wangs?
Chicken wings.
Wings. Okay.
Yeah, wangs. Chicken wings.
The escargot is on point.
Yeah, exactly. No, and they have other things, side items and things like this.
They do.
This restaurant was opened up and it had a following back years ago, and the owner closed the restaurant, I believe, in about 2015 or 16 or something like that.
Okay. And
then he reopened the restaurant, and it's on Martin Luther King Boulevard or East Side Drive, down a ways. And there's been a restaurant there for quite a while, several iterations. Ray's Rib Shack was there in this location at one time. Mm-hmm. It's down East Side or down Martin Luther King, pretty close to Business 287. Down there. It's not all the way down there, but it's not too far from there. When you get going down, if you turn on Martin Luther King.
Is this down closer to where the old original chicken box might have been?
It's farther down than that.
Further than that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But they have barbecue. They have all kinds of side items and things like that. But their wings are really good, and they have them in all different flavors. They have all your basic flavors and things like that. But one thing they have is the Hot Cheetos wings.
The Hot Cheetos wings.
They are good. Yes, and you can get them boneless or not, and I prefer the boneless. But yeah, they're good.
Is that
wow?
No, they basically it's hot Cheetos and they crush them up and crust it. So
they cut it and then they fry them.
Yeah, there you go. That's a hot Cheeto wing. Yeah, they are tasty.
Talk about you light up my life.
Yeah, they're not too bad, but they're very tasty. But their food's really good. And so if you get a chance, go by and check them out. And they're open probably normal.
Closed now, but it looks like
they're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Okay, so open Wednesday through Sunday, 11 to 8, except on Sunday it's 11 to 4.
Right, so they're basically open lunch through dinner most days. And lots of good food, really, really nice people there. And it's really good. You can go in, and they have a really nice, diverse menu, so you can go check out different things. But the thing I have, the problem I have sometimes is I'll find something I like at a restaurant, and okay, I'm going to get something different.
And then you don't.
And then you go and go, I'll just get this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's the safe thing to do. You know.
Yeah.
And, but have you had their?
I've not had their ribs.
Those look really good.
Yeah, I've not had their barbecue. All I've had is their wangs.
Their wangs.
I'll tell you what, some of the worst ribs I've ever had were adequate. I'm just going to say that.
Never had the things.
No, I did have some things. I had some sides.
Oh, okay.
Like they have fried okra.
Those look
like
good.
Yeah, those do really.
Those look really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go check them out. Wangs and Things.
Ranch with your wings or not?
Yeah.
It depends. If I have traditional ranch, I'll have blue cheese with traditional. If I have buffalo wings, I will sometimes with the Cheetos. No, I don't. No sauce.
No sauce, just
Just Cheetos.
Okay. Well, so it's 1400 Martin Luther King.
Yeah. So it's down a ways. Like I said, it's going out towards the end of Martin Luther King Boulevard.
You're closer to East Scott, which would be Business 287?
Yes, you're closer to East Scott than you are anywhere else.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
Yep.
All right. Let's see here. We want to talk about the Costner movie.
I tell you, have you guys seen it?
No.
I've not seen it yet.
I have. I went and watched it at the movie theater, and I would recommend going to the movie theater.
Movie theater? What? What are those?
Oh, I'm a movie theater guy. If there's a good movie that I want to see, and it's I still like the visuals and stuff at a movie theater. Now, if it's 12 Angry Men or something, and it's going to be something that's inside of a room, I could just wait till it comes out. Yeah. But I really enjoy the spectacle of a movie theater for a good movie. This is a damn good movie. Now, it is a Kevin Costner movie, so you know it's going to be a long movie. Go tinkle before you go into the movie theater because it's over 3 hours.
Get the extra large popcorn.
Yeah, it is over 3 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
But you don't feel it movie moves so fast, and it has several different storylines that are going on that you don't feel you're not dragging on. And a lot of movies, I feel like these long movies that you're like going, okay, they're dragging this long. I watched Gone with the Wind last weekend, and at home, obviously not the movie theater, and I hadn't watched it in 35 years, and you kind of go, this could have been a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
They drug it out a little too long. I do not feel that about this movie. This movie was great. The spectacle is so beautiful. They're out on the wide open. I think they shot a lot of it in Utah. And if you've ever been in that country, it's just phenomenal. And they have several different storylines. The whole thing wasn't shot in Utah because they do have Montana and stuff, but they have several different storylines going. And there's going to be another movie, I believe, in November or something, that is like the sequel to this. They've already shot the sequel, but it was such a long movie, they basically split it up into 2.
Wow.
So it's called Horizon, an American Saga, and I would highly recommend going to see it, and I would recommend seeing it at the movie theater.
I'll tell you another movie I highly recommend, too, if you haven't, even if you're not a John Wayne movie fan, The Searchers. It was made in the mid-1950s, and it's one of the films that Wayne should have won an Oscar for.
Yeah.
And it's another one. It's a long movie, but there's several subplots that develop under the main plot of the movie. And it follows Wayne's character over a period of several years as he searches for his niece who's been kidnapped by raiding Comanche Indians who murdered his brother and sister-in-law and then also ended up murdering one of the other children that they kidnapped. But this one niece, the oldest girl, they pursue her for years until they finally are able to rescue her. You got to see, but it is a really incredible movie. It's really good.
I wonder if it was based loosely on Cynthia Ann Parker.
There could have been some tie in there, perhaps.
Not based on it, but the idea.
Could have been.
Because Cynthia Ann Parker, there were people that searched for Cynthia Ann Parker for years.
Yes.
If you Empire of the Sun, if you read that, it talks about how there were groups that went out and they would go check these Comanche villages, encampments, and stuff like that, and they were always on the search for her.
Yeah.
So,
anyway. Yeah, there could have been some tie in there, but it's a really, really good movie.
It's not a hokey Western movie where the guy, they shoot 37 times without reloading, and the as somebody who rode horses for years and did some cowboy work, it always crazy when they go, all right, we need to hit Dodge City by morning, and they hit and break out in a dead run. And then, the sun is going down, and then the sun comes up, and that same horse is running full speed when they hit Dodge City. It's like, no, it doesn't. No. You're going to run that horse to death.
Doesn't work like that.
Yeah, but it's a gritty movie, and it's pretty raw. It's not bad, but it's pretty raw on life in the old West, but it's set during Civil War times. So interesting.
Yeah, indeed.
But it has nothing to do with the Civil War, other than some men go off back to Civil War, but it has nothing to do with the war itself because it's out in the West.
This year's Back to School Roundup is going to be held August 3rd. So this is right around the corner from 9 to noon at the Ray Clymer Exhibit Hall. That's at the Impact.
Which, by the way, I cut and pasted that. I did not misspell Ray Clymer.
Oh, it does say.
It says Roy.
It does say Roy.
Yeah, that would have been whoever wrote the article, and I remember what website I pulled it off of, but it was not me. Just so you know.
What, a journalist misspelled something and didn't catch it?
Shocking.
No. Anyway, it's Project Back to School is a nonprofit organization that provides free school supplies for kids and backpacks for economically disadvantaged students in Wichita Falls. They provide supplies to roughly 6,000 children annually. Of course, all of these supplies are being bought and paid for by other individuals. They're donated to this organization.
Yeah.
And then they collect it, they break it up, and then they distribute it according to, obviously different ages of students have different needs.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so-
If you're a sophomore in high school, you probably don't want the Hello Dolly backpack.
Right.
It
Hello
amazes
Kitty or
me
whatever.
what kids now need in like second grade.
Yeah.
Right.
We got educated with a box of crayons and a Big Chief tablet.
Big Chief tablet, number 2 pencil, number 1 3 pencil or whatever, that big old fat pencil. Remember the first one?
So by the way, it's not just WFISD. It's also City View.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's
But
if you have
yeah,
to be
can also
enrolled
do-
in WFISD or City View. And then there's other qualifications. But if you know anybody, obviously that might have some needs, then
Yeah.
help them out.
All right, very good. Again, that's August 3rd at the Ray Clymer Exhibit Hall here in Wichita Falls. Poll after poll shows that Texans rank immigration and the border as the most pressing issue. Again, shocking.
Yeah, exactly.
This is, we have our state government has been hyper focused on this for several years now because the federal government has not been.
And hyper focused with lots of tax dollars.
Yes, we have spent the last number I saw was approaching $11 billion
With a B.
with a B. Yes, in our tax money here in Texas.
Yeah.
Protecting the southern border that the United States tax dollars, it's still all tax money.
Yes.
I hear that. I hear people say it's still all tax money, and I get that. But
Yes.
now we're doing the load that should be shared by 50 states.
Right.
The fact of the matter is Frank in Walla Walla, Washington should be kicking in on this.
Well,
Yes.
but here's the thing, though, too. Think about this: that the money that you're spending has been allocated to protect the border already. They are wasting our money.
Yes.
They are not. It is not. It's the fact that they're not enforcing the. We funded this enforcement, and yet they're letting it.
The Border Patrol agents are still there. They're still getting paid. It's just
Exactly.
unfortunate, and I'm not blaming the Border Patrol agents. They're doing what they're told. But unfortunately, they're being redirected for these bullshit missions rather than the mission of protecting the border. You're absolutely right. It's an absolute piss. We're pissing the money away because we're still paying people to be there,
We're
but they're
paying
not.
twice.
They're not doing the job that they're supposed to do. Once again, not their fault, not the people on the ground's fault.
Right.
It's administration.
because they want to do it. I'm sure those people want to do their job. That's what they were hired to do.
Oh, there's
Yes.
there's suicide rates and Border Patrol agents has gone up substantially. Depression rates have gone up. People leaving the job simply because I went to become a Border Patrol agent. I trained to be a Border Patrol agent. I believe in the mission, and now I'm being told to stand down and not do my mission. It's got to be frustrating.
Well, and there's something has got to change, and it's got to change soon. This to say it's out of control is an understatement, a gross understatement.
Not only is it out of control, Mike, it's unsustainable. At some point,
Yeah.
we're and what I'm sad about that people are having to do this, but now what I'm happy about is you have people all over the country getting an ass full.
Yeah.
United States citizens, especially poor, and what it hurts the worst is our poor citizens.
Yeah.
Our poor and low middle class citizens, lower middle class citizens, who are now being pushed out of the services they depend on, that their tax monies pay, or somebody's tax monies pay, even if they don't have a job and they're not paying the taxes, they're still an American citizen. And as far as I'm concerned, if I'm gonna support somebody, I would rather support an American citizen first and somebody else second. Okay? And so now you have these people who rely on community services, and they're being pushed out of these community services. Their kids can't play sports in community gyms and parks and things like that because the government's taking over and using it to house illegal aliens.
Yeah. We've got a situation here. Unsustainable is correct. It is at any moment. This could go from catastrophic failure to total unmitigated disaster
Yeah.
in a blink of an eye. We have a situation that should be under control and should be controllable easily if the federal government would simply do its job.
Follow the law.
And I've been saying this for years. If you really want to get this situation under control, you do have to build a border wall. You have to have a physical barrier.
It sure helps.
Yes.
It couldn't wait.
Okay. It's like the fence around your backyard.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't stop someone from illicitly getting into your backyard. They can always jump the fence or whatever. But it certainly makes it harder for them to do it.
It goes from being where a few people who have skills and extra, once again, you have to be able the skills to get over a fence. Not everybody can go over a fence.
Yeah.
So it takes people it takes everybody who could just walk through down to a few that are more determined and skilled to do that.
Yeah.
And then you could also focus your law enforcement to go to those places. Sorry, Terry, I stepped on you on that one.
Oh.
Go ahead.
No, I don't even remember.
And
forgive you anything.
It's like if you're
Thank you, sir. Thank
your
you.
property, you fence your property to keep people from entering your property, to stop people from
You lock your front door, don't you?
You lock your front door to protect your home. Why do we not have the same attitude about our border?
Maybe we need to quit calling it a wall. Why don't we call it a door?
Yeah.
Let's lock our goddamn door.
Lock the front door, lock the back door.
Yeah.
But we've got to have a physical barrier. That's number one. You got to have boots on the ground. You got to have people. You got to have people that can physically watch the border, that can physically interact with people coming into the country illegally and do something about it. And then the third thing you've got to employ is the best technology that's out there.
Assets in the air.
Assets in the air. We've got drones. We have military drones that can, 50, 60,000 feet in the air, and they can take a picture of a gnat, on the ground in detail,
They can take a picture of a gnat's ass.
So I mean, come on,
Yeah.
let's do what we have to do here.
Well, you fly patrols. I've said for a long
Yeah.
time, fly patrols, fly sorties with drones, fly sorties, and have sublethal countermeasures, smoke bombs, things like that, to where if you catch people crossing the border, you smoke bomb it and you send the border to that location. The border patrol, send your helicopters in. And by the way, I'm tired of this shit about let's wait till they come across the border. We need to start interdicting on the other side. If Mexico ain't going to do it, we need to do it.
And Mexico's not going to do it.
Let's get our military in to start interdicting on the other side.
They're not going to do it. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this. If you've watched much news in the last 6 months or so, but they've really slowed down on the reporting. For a while there, you had Fox News and a couple of other news agencies that had camera crews down there, and they were showing you these people coming across the border. And you would see, for example, Chinese nationals, well-dressed, clean, clearly hadn't been hanging out in the desert for the last couple of weeks, literally walking across the border, literally. And they look like they just stepped off a flight, for God's sakes. And they're being brought to the border by the cartels. They're providing the protection or the transportation or whatnot to get them close to the border. They drop them off at a certain point and then they walk in. And we would see footage of that almost daily. In the last several months, that's just about stopped. It's like they've just shut it off. And then we went from calling them, we stopped calling them illegals, and now they're
undocumented workers,
undocumented migrants or whatever.
Well, first off, you're assuming on that everybody's working.
Yeah.
Not everybody's coming over here to work.
No.
By the way, one of the most disturbing images I saw, and this made me ill, thinking that these military people had to put up with this shit, is when you had that crowd, and it was almost all men, like, middle 30 odd something age men rushing that border and caving that fence down. They should have mowed their asses down. I am so sorry. That's an attack on those soldiers. Yeah. And what are those soldiers supposed to do? You don't know if these people have guns, weapons, knives. And the fact of the matter is, I don't give a shit if you're a tough guy. You may be a tough guy in hand-to-hand combat with one person. You can't fight 50.
No.
And those soldiers were overwhelmed. Had that crowd decided to get violent, those guys would have been SOL.
Well, we're at the look,
it's not right.
We're
it's
at
not
the
right
point.
To them. It's not right to put them in that situation.
We're at the point, guys, where either the feds are going to start doing their job, or we're going to have to send in our ultimate weapon, Chuck Norris.
And we might even get Hulk Hogan in on there. I saw him at the RNC, and he's back to ripping his shirt off, and he can do his own.
Is the 24-inch pythons? Are they still 24 inches?
They're pythons.
Okay.
They're a little smaller. He's still pumped. I mean, you can still take steroids.
Yeah. By the way, I this isn't on our agenda necessarily, but did y'all watch Biden's little 11-minute blurb last night?
I did not.
No,
it was
I didn't
Full of
watch it.
nothing. It was nothing.
Well, of course it was. You have an empty suit talking
Yeah,
nothing.
and he did. I think he claimed again that he has the best numbers. He's reduced the numbers since for 30 years crossing the border.
And by the
whatever.
way, we talked about this. We talked about this, and we talked about somebody who had. Is Tom Holman. Remember, and I reported this. Tom Holman came up and talked about what a shell game this is. Yeah, they're not crossing the border because they're flying them in now.
Yeah.
Well,
The same amount of people are coming in. They're just coming in by different modes of transportation, and it's costing us more.
well, an article from CNN,
Sure.
July 16th. You can tell things are bad for Biden. Is when they're saying, "Hey, we fact checked you." And he was wrong. Biden on his tightening of the border, touting the impact of the executive action he took in June to tighten the southern border. Biden said, guess what? The number of people seeking to come into the country is down lower than it was at any time when he was president, Donald Trump. And then they said, well, this is false. U.S. encounters with migrants at the southern border did fall in June, but the number of encounters was lower during most of Trump's presidency throughout 2017 and 18.
See,
So
this is how you know. There was an orchestrated effort here to get Biden to quit.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely. And the media has always had the ability to push these guys. You go all the way back to Lyndon Johnson, who famously, after watching a negative report by Walter Cronkite on the CBS Evening News about Vietnam, and Johnson allegedly said, well, and I'm paraphrasing here, well, if I've lost Walter Cronkite, I've lost America.
Yep, that's right.
And so, and that was one of the things that allegedly pushed him to not seek reelection.
That was one of his other famous things. Lyndon Johnson did something, a couple other very famous things.
Yeah, a few other things too.
That weren't nearly as
Yeah.
flattering as that.
But anyway, that's the power of the media. When they want to use their power, they can. And they're using their power, they have used their power to push Biden out of the way because it became painfully evident that everything people like me have been saying about Joe Biden for the last 4 years is exactly right. This man has dementia and was not fit to serve in this role.
Well,
He was not mentally, cognitively fit to be in this role.
I think everybody at this table is surprised that he's lasted this long.
Oh, hell yes.
So,
well,
I'm surprised he got through the first 6 months.
Yeah.
After the first 6 months, I'm like, good grief,
Yeah.
what are they putting this guy
they're
on?
pumping him up with something.
and was
you
it
know?
Sunday that they that he announced, right, that he's
Yeah.
bailing out? And MSNBC, I watched a little blurb, and oh my God, they were painting him as a hero and all this. Like, no, and so he was supposed to answer everything today or yesterday, last night.
He didn't.
And he did not answer. He just talked about how good he has done in his presidency, and that he wants to turn it over to the next generation.
And I'll bet money right now that's the last time we hear a word out of him.
Well,
It's
he
going to
didn't
be
do that well anyway.
It's going to be It's going to be radio silence from this point forward. And I'm going to make another prediction too. They will not put Kamala Harris, assuming that she is in fact the nominee. That's yet to be 100% firmly decided, guys. We still have the DNC to get through, the Democratic National Convention to get through, and there's a little matter of 700 super delegates that could upend this whole thing for her.
I
They
agree.
could.
I agree. Go ahead.
But my prediction is they will not put her on a debate stage with Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think you're
will
right.
not do
I think
it.
you're right about that. But I'm still saying, I am still on the side of, I think just like I said before, they're kind of going. The Democrats, they're raising a white flag a little bit. They may be putting Kamala in there because they know that Joe can't even get through the deal.
Yeah.
But I think all they're going to do is they're just burning her, getting her out of the way,
Possibly.
understanding that Trump can only serve 4 years.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I could be wrong, I don't think they're going to put Whitmer or Newsom or any of those people in as her VP. I think they're going to throw somebody in there.
Somebody obscure.
Yeah.
placeholder.
Yeah, a placeholder basically. And I think they're almost saying, okay, look, we're gonna lose this election. So let's burn her political career so we don't have to deal with her because we don't like her. And let's throw somebody else in there that is inconsequential. And let's keep Newsom and let's keep Whitmer and let's keep these other people that are kind of going to be our next superstars. Keep them on the bench, and we'll look forward to 28.
Well, and I will say that to me that makes sense, and that would be a logical, definitive way to get her. Just go ahead and let her burn all her political capital right now up and move on down the road.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with all the money that he's raised?
They're going to spend it. They're going to spend it now. I mean,
No, I
they're
know,
going
but
to
it's but what
the Trump campaign yesterday. This is Thursday that we're recording this podcast. Wednesday, they filed a complaint with the FEC?
Probably federal
Right,
elections.
yeah.
About the transfer of the money.
Right. They're
From
challenging
the Biden campaign
the legality
to,
of that.
yes, there's some legal challenges.
I think it is. I think it's going to be legal though, because supposedly when the Democrats set this up, they set it up as Biden Harris.
Well, maybe.
So I think somebody was smart enough back then to set this up this direction.
Well,
to think, is Joe Biden going to make it?
They had to know, and I think they knew 4 years ago.
Of course.
That I think they planned it with the possibility that he wouldn't make it through the first term.
Exactly.
fully.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And knowing full well that by the time we got to this point, there was no way he was going to make a second term.
Well, right, and understanding and hoping that Cackle Britches wasn't going to be Cackle Britches, that she was going to turn out to be somebody that they wanted and liked and everything else, and then she turned out to be not somebody that nobody
I've
liked.
said from the beginning, her own party didn't even have enough respect for her. She came in dead last in the Democratic primary in 20. She came in dead last. They didn't have any respect for her, and the only reason they put her in the position they put her in is because she checked some boxes for them.
But I think they were hoping that I thought they were hoping that this would be a more successful administration, and that people would come to like her.
Yeah.
And if people have gone away from her. People have come to dislike her more than they did.
Well, what has she done to endear herself to anyone? What has she done to make her base like her more?
No, wait a minute.
Nothing.
She qualifies for a kindergarten teacher.
She does?
Yeah, because that's how she talks. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a kindergarten teacher.
And she likes buses.
Yeah. I mean, I would hire her as a kindergarten teacher.
Oh boy.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Why the hell would you want to punish those kids that way?
Yeah, what are they going to learn?
What did any of those children do to you?
Based on those skills that she has demonstrated, she does have the ability to orate in a way that is understandable by kindergarten.
You do feel like you're being
By the
talked
way,
down to by her.
Here's another. I know we're going way long on this, but here's another thing that there's a lot of people that aren't talking, and I'm because look, I've heard this from some black people. They keep pushing her as this woman of color. There's a lot of black Americans that are not buying that bullshit that she's a woman of color. She's half Indian, half Jamaican. Okay, Jamaicans, while they may have the same skin color as somebody who's a black person from America, does not mean they're the same as black Americans. Okay, and there's a lot of black people in America that are like going, no, she's not one of us because her daddy was Jamaican and her mom was Indian.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying there's a lot of black people that are going, Now, I'm not supporting her simply because she happens to have a shade of skin that looks similar to mine.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Yeah. I don't know. Interesting things are going to happen in the next 3 weeks. Democratic National Convention's coming up in about 3 weeks. Keep your eyes on that. Again, there are 700 superdelegates that they're going to have to deal with. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays. But they could upend this thing for
They
them.
absolutely could. We'll see what happens.
They could. So anyway, we'll see. Guys, thank you for joining us again. This program, Get It Right Texoma. Visit our website, getitrighttexoma.com. Be sure and find us on Facebook and share this on all your social media platforms. Sponsored in part by Eddie Hills Fun Cycles at 401 North Scott, downtown Wichita Falls, EddieHillsFunCycles.com, the website. MacTech Solutions at 4020 Ray Road, Suite 3B in Wichita Falls, MacTech-Solutions.com, and Lolly and Pop's Sweet Shop, LPSweet.com, the website, on Facebook at Lolly and Pop's Sweet Shop. And again, please share this on all your social media platforms and make sure to follow us and give us your feedback on the show as well. Take care. We appreciate you being with us here on Get It Right Texoma. Until next time, we'll see you down the road, kids.